Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Not too long ago, I heard this commentator on the news say that he was talking about the young man who just massacred these children, these second, third, fourth graders. And he was talking about how this young man did this damage and ended up being killed. I think he was killed. At least this is what they said. And then they went back to where this previous incident took place, where this young man went in and hunted down, really, people of color. They call this a hate crime, terrorist hate. The one that I just mentioned, I guess they just call it a terrorist act. But this, when a guy hunted down people of color and mauled them down. And this commentator made the fact that he brought attention to it, that this guy, having done this damage, when the cops came to him, he had a gun in his own head. I guess he was saying he was willing to die. But the system, through the police department, were not willing to allow him to die. They wouldn't kill him, and they talked him down from killing himself and arrested him. And then they compared that to how innocent black men, having no weapon or anything, are shot down by cops just because perhaps the only thing they could connect to it is the color. And yet a young man with a gun in his hand, having activated it in such a way that it's killed people, and still holding the gun, and the cops won't shoot him. And the only reason that is obvious is because of his color, white. Now, that is the kind of stuff that we as black people have had to experience all of our lives, and white people as well. There are those who commit these acts as a means of expressing what they have accepted in their teaching, and there are those who are against it but have no power in their understanding of life to do anything about it. And so what good people need, ladies and gentlemen, we must keep this foremost in our thoughts. We don't need, and I say we because I claim to be a good person, we don't need police. We don't need police for this or for that. What we need, what we truly need, are righteous people to protect us from the effects of evil. We need righteous people to protect us from the effects of evil. Evil causes poverty. We need righteous people to make sure that poverty does not exist. Evil causes a failed healthcare system. It causes a failed education system. Evil does this. We need righteous people to protect us from that and make sure that healthcare does exactly what it's designed to do, that education does exactly what it's designed to do, and I mean what it's designed to do. We don't need evil politicians. We don't need evil preachers walking around as sheep. No. We know what they are. We need righteous people. And you might say, well, how do you find that? You don't find it. It speaks for itself. Righteousness speaks for itself. If you don't see it, it's because it's not happening. Not to the degree that it can be seen. I'll speak to you, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you know me. If you do, I'm just an average you. I'm no big name. I'm not even, I won't say well known. I'm not known. Even you watching me right now, you don't know who I am. You can't even remember my name. Many of you do, but most of you don't. But that's not important. What is important, ladies and gentlemen, is my commitment to what I'm doing. First of all, I've been doing this for 40 years. What I mean by doing this, I mean I've traveled. I've been taught. You know, people go to school to learn. People go to the universities to learn what have already been printed. I was called out to walk and to see what has not been printed, or what has been printed references to teach me what I am supposed to use in this that I'm doing now. And the most thing that it has qualified me is to know the difference between light and darkness. So that if I'm going to advocate for light, if I'm going to put down darkness, I got to be able to show you the difference in the two. Whether you accept it or not, that's your choice. And so for these 40 years I've done it, you would think, well, remember Moses, they were in the wilderness for 40 years. They didn't do anything, didn't learn a thing. And so we haven't learned a thing. But what I have done, ladies and gentlemen, is that for the past 10 years at least, I have spoken on the internet. And I got thousands of videos, 10 years worth. Now, what is that there for? It's to speak a message to you that you might know me. I'm not talking to you about, I'm not trying to save your soul. I'm trying to save your life. So when you hear me talking about God, it's in reference to your life. Not anything afterwards, but to your life. Because that's the way I was trained by the Spirit, to come back and tell you what you have forgotten. You are not living this life. And the message is on this internet. You go back, I have spoken thousands and thousands of times, as the number of videos I got posted will reference. My message has not changed, because the truth does not change. Now, one person says, well, we had a stone wheel. Now we got, you know the kind of wheels we got now, many kinds. So what happened? I said, the truth didn't change. Wheels make things easier to move, roll, whether it's stone, wood, rubber, or air. You see what I'm saying? So the truth is always the truth. And so whatever subject I spoke on, it is the truth that is the light of that particular darkness, if I'm speaking on it for that purpose. And it's there for you, so you can know me. I don't want you to think I'm popping up out of the Jennings box and you saying, who is he? You want to know who he is? I've told you. Go back on the internet and you can subscribe. And I guarantee you, you'll get a headache with the number of videos you got to go through. But on any subject, you keep on searching, you'll find Eddie Marcus speaking on it as the Spirit has given me utterance. So I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the whole purpose for what I'm doing, is to say to you that if you want to live, you're going to have to trust something else. If you want to live, you're going to have to trust something else. But be like this. If you think you are deserving to live, then you must think that everyone else is too. Because at any instant that you can think that another is not deserving, that is the same instance where you lose your credibility. You got to see beyond another's fault if they exist. You got to see beyond that fault and see straight through it in order for you to be qualified. And in being qualified, now the one that has the fault got a representative, an agent to aid in their deliverance. So be wise, my friends. Always be wise. And I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Until next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.